Easy, creating a seamless buying and selling process built on emerging technology to create a single user-centric platform for the residential housing market. We're making buying and selling easy. What we do, we provide seamless existing data sources to provide a single platform for residential buying with minimum fuss, reducing the number of intermediaries. Basically, less people touching that contract and taking a clip. We're going to use blockchain technology to keep all the transactions transparent and in one platform. And that enables real-time trusted transactions just instead of just-in-time paradigms. In other words, we're not going to have a banking check. In saying that, the problem today is a few. For one, the buyer. The buyer wants to buy a house. They go to the law, they get a contract, they go and negotiate with lawyers, brokers, insurance, real estate agents. A lot of interaction just to buy a property, which a lot of this stuff is in different data forms in different areas. The seller is also giving these a same crowd money for those same services. So the buyer and the seller are also paying for the same services for that contract. Problem we also see is for the seller. If you want to sell your house in Queensland, for example, an average house sale of $550,000, it's on the market for that price. What's not transparent to the buyer is the amount of money that's been put into the styling, to the marketing, to the conveyancing, lender's fee, and don't forget the magical 2.8% commission in Queensland. Other states have different commission formats. In other words, basically, you're going to just lose about $20,000 just selling your home. So what we found is a way to do it in terms of putting everything into one single digital platform to have the contractual journey travel from end to end. This will be built on DLT, distributed ledger technology, which means it's all transparent in one place. It's already available. And we'll be taking advantage of a next generation of enabled e-buyers using digital platforms like Iconic or eBay to be able to now start looking to purchase houses and have some transparency. So the solution here is putting everything onto the one platform. That means your lawyers, your vendors, your conveyancing, your Brisbane City Council, your titles, all into the one platform. So for the seller, they'll be accessing that same information to be able to buy their house, which is already there. For the buyer, they will also be accessing that same information, which means it's all in there. They're not going to have double dipping to say that this is what this house is worth, this is where it comes from, this is the land titles, this is the development application. Guess what? It's all in there. So if we have a look really quickly about what the industry is all about in Australia, the industry is interesting. Sorry, I'll have to start again. 7.5 billion was just on real estate agents' commissions last year. Billion. In saying that, the average number of sales last year was 437,000. So that gives you an idea about how many houses sell. The gross value of the sales market in the residential area is 268 billion. But we're not chasing those numbers. We're chasing the number of transfers, the number of housing transfers, because the more houses that transfer through the platform, the better it is for us. We went out and did a bit of research to have an understanding of the marketplace and the end user needs. And a lot of the end users wanted to have no real estate agents, basically. A lot of the buyers said, look, we just don't want to deal with them. A lot of sellers said, look, if we could do without them, we would. But in saying that, there's opportunities to clean up a lot of that part of that transaction, make it easy, reduce the complexity of the contract, have it all in on your fingertips, have a dashboard to progress the contract where it's at, and a one-stop shop, basically, for want of a better word, for all your real estate buying and selling needs into the platform, which is interoperable with your IP providers. With your iPhones, tablets, your desktops, basically buying real estate in the one place. We started to understand the user needs, and we had to look at the marketplace as well. and saying, well, what else is it that, how else can we start to target particular types of groups? And guess what? Our total addressable market was really quite large in Australia. So for that number of housing transactions, it's a large group of buyers, and who tend to be, believe it or not, 50% of them the year before were actually between the ages of 25 to 44, buying their first home. So these are the particular people we'll be looking at to see how we can get them into the platform for the following years, who are going to be our first home buyers in the upcoming years. That means we will be targeting our beachhead market is basically the ideal customer is that upcoming first home buyer. Our next best customer, of course, would be those who have already established properties and are looking to buy their second, the third property, or even investors. And our opportunistic customer would be those who have been in the market, housing residential market for quite some time, and they haven't quite come into the platform, but they will be a target market that we'll look at down the track as well. The numbers do the talking. Again, we're not chasing revenue, we're not chasing money per se, we are chasing a percentage of the housing transfers. So if there's 250,000 of those housing transfers, let's say we're chasing 0.5% at a conservative price to get them into the platform. In the marketplace, we do have a bit of competition. Again, our competitors are only building to get rid of real estate agents, which makes sense. Again, to upload a photo onto realestate.com is a lot of money, 2.8%. So these guys have come up with their own types of packages to sellers to say, look, you can do it by yourself. These are the websites we've got. We can help you out, but we can do all that. What they don't do is they do not connect the buyer and the seller in the one platform, different databases. So you pay more money to go to another database to get your settlements done. If we have a look at the online share for real estate sales, yes, realestate.com.au has got market concentration, so that's pretty high. But interesting, when we were doing a bit more research, we found that ease of entry into this marketplace is pretty high. So their barrier into entry is actually not high. No one's competing in that space. Of course, the numbers do the talking. A lot of people want to see the revenue, and the revenue in that sector, that is quite there. We're talking in the millions of dollars, and the percentage of people buying versus investors versus the commercial businesses. Again, we are chasing the transfers. The turnovers, 0.5% of the turnover annually, 1% of those online sales, which are amounted to a couple of billion, I think 600 million. And a vendor, we're looking at having a 2% growth of vendors into the platform. Without the vendors, without the sellers, we won't have the buyers. So we would like to see vendors first into the platform and then start to chase those real estate first home buyers after that. We acknowledge there's going to be quite a bit of spending in the first few years, and the revenue is going to be pretty low. So a lot of the spending is on the marketing strategy, but that's another go-to-market, which is a separate piece of work. But this just talks to the numbers about what we're thinking about if we had to start building it tomorrow. Also, the pricing model. So if we were putting out a package of pricing to our marketplace, we build different packages for different types. And guess what? We did not really quite take the agent away. We actually built a package for the agent because we thought potentially the agent could still use this platform because they can have everything as well in their fingertips, and they can bring the buyers and the sellers into this particular platform. So there's an incentive for everyone to come in. Very simple business model. Again, it's all user experience in relation to the contract. We're targeting the total addressable market is that younger generation of tech savvy, Gen X, Gen Y. It's a modular build. So everything is built on vendor build module versus a seller module versus a property development module versus an investor module. So they all will be a modular build on proprietary tech, which is that blockchain we talked about very quickly. And it's all transparent and very efficient, especially with the open banking coming next year. It'll make it even better and faster for people to be able to buy a house. When we're looking at what we're projecting to do over the next couple of years, it really is to build a platform and set a presence and start building partnerships with the likes of PEXA, who have already got a digital presence. They're online conveyancing, so we've got a lot of online contracts, online lawyers, online digital ID, people providing all these services, just not in the same platform. They're all doing it separately. We're all going to bring it into one. We won't forget as well, while we're doing that, we will take advantage of other particular technologies to help assist us in selling a house. even if it's the 3D models that you have on your phone, or even VR goggles on your phone as well, on your on for yourself. Look, this solution is available in Australia already. It's available in Africa. It's used quite heavily. It's available in South America. It's available in China. So it is quite scalable for us to build should we want the platform to interact with other entities around the world. So it all is very scalable, and it is real easy.